end of the world signs will lead to the apocalypse, 2026. Throughout history, humanity has watched the earth and the sky for signs of great change. When nature behaves in ways that feel unnatural, violent earthquakes, oceans swallowing cities, skies showing impossible sights, people begin to wonder whether the world is approaching a final turning point. As 2026 approaches, many believe that a convergence of natural disasters and extraordinary global events could signal what some call the end times. This narration does not claim certainty. Instead, it presents beliefs, interpretations, and fears shared by many observers around the world. Sign 1. A surge in massive earthquakes. Earthquakes have always existed, but many believe the scale and frequency are increasing. Entire regions sit on unstable fault lines, and in end-time interpretations, the Earth itself is said to shake in warning. In 2026, some fear a rise in powerful earthquakes striking densely populated areas, collapsing cities, destroying infrastructure, and reminding humanity that no technology can fully control the planet beneath our feet. Sign 2. Catastrophic flooding. Across continents, floods are among the most destructive natural disasters known to humankind. Rivers overflow, dams fail, and coastlines vanish under rising water. End-time traditions often describe floods as symbols of cleansing or judgment. Many believe that in 2026, unprecedented flooding, caused by extreme rainfall, melting ice, and rising seas, could submerge entire communities and force mass evacuations. Sign 3. Tsunamis devastating coastal regions. Tsunamis represent nature's sudden and unstoppable force. Triggered by underwater earthquakes or volcanic activity, they arrive with little warning. Those who interpret signs of the end times fear that 2026 could witness massive tsunamis striking major coastal cities, wiping out ports, towns, and livelihoods in minutes. For believers, the ocean rising in fury is a sign of imbalance between humanity and nature. Sign 4. Rivers turning red. Across history and religious tradition, rivers changing color, especially turning red, have been viewed as ominous signs. In modern times, pollution, algae blooms, industrial waste, and chemical runoff can cause rivers to appear blood red. Yet for many observers, if such events increase in 2026, they will not be seen as coincidence, but as symbolic warnings of environmental collapse and moral decay. Sign 5. The appearance of two suns in the sky. One of the most unsettling phenomena described in end-time stories is the appearance of a second sun. While science explains such events as optical illusions, atmospheric refraction, or celestial alignments, their visual impact is deeply disturbing. If in 2026 people witness unusual solar phenomena, bright reflections, rare alignments, or unexplained light in the sky, many will interpret it as a sign that the natural order itself is changing. Sign 6. Extreme weather beyond historical records. Heat waves that break all records. Cold storms where cold should not exist. Snow in deserts. Firestorms consuming forests at unprecedented speed. End-time interpretations often describe weather becoming chaotic and unpredictable. In 2026, believers expect climate extremes to intensify, leaving humanity struggling to adapt to conditions it has never faced before. Sign 7. Volcanic awakening on a global scale. Volcanoes are often seen as the Earth's pressure valves. When many awaken at once, it signals deep geological unrest. Some fear that 2026 could bring increased volcanic activity, ash clouds darkening skies, flights grounded worldwide, crops failing, and sunlight dimmed. In symbolic terms, fire rising from the Earth is viewed as a warning from the planet itself. Sign 8. The collapse of natural balance. Animals behaving strangely, mass die-offs of marine life, forests disappearing, and ecosystems failing. These are often cited as signs that the Earth's balance is breaking. For those watching closely, 2026 may represent a tipping point where nature can no longer recover at the pace of human destruction, leading to cascading environmental failures. Sign 9. A global war triggered by a political shock. Beyond natural disasters, many end-time narratives include a final global conflict. Some fear that a sudden political event, such as the arrest or removal of a world leader, could ignite a chain reaction. In speculative scenarios discussed by believers, a dramatic international incident in early 2026 could escalate tensions between major powers, eventually spiraling into a third world war. Whether symbolic or literal, war is seen as humanity's final test. Sign 10. Worldwide fear and psychological collapse. Perhaps the most overlooked sign is not physical, but emotional. Anxiety, panic, and hopelessness spreading across societies. End-time traditions often describe a period when people lose their sense of security and meaning. If disasters, strange phenomena, and global conflict converge in 2026, fear itself may become the final and most powerful sign. Closing reflection. Throughout history, humanity has repeatedly believed it was living in the final days. Many of those predictions were wrong, yet each warning carried a message. The idea of the end times is not only about destruction, it is about awareness. Natural disasters and strange phenomena remind us that we are not separate from the earth, and global conflict reveals the consequences of unchecked power and division. Whether 2026 becomes a year of collapse or transformation depends not on prophecy alone, but on human choices. The signs may not be telling us that the world must end, but that the way we live must change. By 2026, the world stands at a fragile crossroads. Across continents, conflicts, disasters, and political shocks are no longer isolated events, but connected signals of a planet under strain. The war in Ukraine continues to reshape global stability, drawing in major powers and exhausting diplomatic paths. What began as a regional conflict now echoes worldwide through energy shortages, military alliances, and rising tensions between East and West. In South America, political turmoil deepens. The arrest of a Venezuelan president becomes a symbol of collapsing institutions, triggering unrest, sanctions, and geopolitical realignments across the region. In Asia, fault lines harden. Tensions between Taiwan and China intensify, with military drills, airspace violations, and global economic risks tied to semiconductors and trade routes. On the Korean Peninsula, North and South Korea remain locked in hostility, missile tests and military responses pushing the region closer to miscalculation. China and the United States face each other not only militarily, but economically and technologically, signaling a prolonged global power struggle. Meanwhile, India and Pakistan, both nuclear-armed, continue their decades-long rivalry, where even a single spark could have irreversible consequences. As human conflicts escalate, nature responds with equal force. Earthquakes strike without warning, floods submerge cities, heat waves, wildfires, and rising seas displace millions. These disasters are no longer rare. They are frequent, overlapping, and relentless. Together, war and nature paint a single picture, a world under pressure from its own divisions and excesses. The signs of 2026 are not a prediction of the end, but a warning, a reminder that humanity stands between collapse and cooperation. The question is no longer what will happen, but whether we choose to change course before it is too late.